Huh. I wonder what this guy meant with these peculiar comments in South Africa.
Don't worry. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness.
It sounds like a mostly peaceful person, according to CNN, as of course we're getting a lot of crazy news from South Africa as the president of that country is now visiting the United States and soon will be meeting with Donald Trump as he's trying to curry favors with Elon Musk, as Elon Musk had some very interesting things to say about this particular upcoming meeting with all the racist, discriminatory laws in South Africa that have been implemented against him and a lot of other fellow South Africans because of their skin color. Joining us for this particular conversation is, of course, the one and only Anton of BuiltUSAcom. He's a great man. I have the pleasure of doing business with him, working with him, and just in the making of this particular video, he was like, yeah, the same thing that happened to Elon Musk happened to me, so we're going to be going to him and getting some more comments, feedback, and the latest type of on the news with the hands on the pulse of all the latest developments happening right now in South Africa that we're going to be discussing in this particular video in a definitely detailed, nuanced way where you won't see it anywhere else. So subscribe, click the notification button. Anton, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you on. The last time we talked, we were on the quartering, and you gave us a lot of deep insight into what was going on here. But there seems to be a lot of controversy. There seems to be a lot of fake news, a lot of disinformation regarding what's really happening with the South Africans. What do you make of everything that's going on right now? And what's your purview and perspective looking out into all the developments that are happening right now?
Well, the majority of the larger producing farms are, white farmers, and they are getting targeted, by the laws of the government as well as the criminality in the country. So yes, unfortunately, the white farmers are disproportionately being, murdered. So Elon is 100% correct, and so is Trump. You cannot. So firstly, South Africa doesn't collect, crime statistics by race. So for anyone to say, it is or isn't is difficult. But if you look at the larger, the actual proper producing, the big producing farms, those farmers are, they have been on that land for hundreds and hundreds of years. This is not something you can just kind of hand to anybody and they're just going to go do. These are massive farms that produce huge quantities of food, and those guys get targeted pretty much because when there's a stadium of 80,000 people chanting, you're going to go kill the farmers. Oh, guess what happens, and they tell them that the land was stolen, etc. That's all the normal commie nonsense that we are all used to seeing.
Yeah, even though the South Africans were there for hundreds and hundreds of years. What was it, 400, 500 years? We had CNN hosts. Yeah. We had CNN hosts literally tell people they should go back to Germany. I don't know if you saw that clip, but it's like, how ruthless and insane are these people?
No, I mean, 1652 is when the first settlers landed, and they bartered with, with the locals for land. It's not like we just grabbed everything we could get our hands on. There were bartering done with the locals in the Cape area, in the KwaZulu-Natal area, all over there was bartering. And I mean, there were a lot of wars and stuff like that. And, some land, because of the wars, got basically appropriated, because if you make war and you lose, then you lose land. I mean, it's just how history goes,
Yeah.
It's an issue, and you know what? In my opinion, I think anybody that can get out, because South Africa is now full-on communist, anybody that can get out to go anywhere and make a success should absolutely do it.
Yeah, I want to ask you specifically what you think is going to happen right now with the South African president, with Donald Trump and Elon, because this is what Elon had to say. I know you can't hear the clip. We're going to play this 1-minute clip right now to give people a perspective of just how severe and important the situation is for Elon Musk with what he just announced a few hours ago. Here's the clip.
Not otherwise. And so now I'm in this absurd situation where I was born in South Africa but cannot get a license to operate in Starlink because I'm not black.
Well, it looks
Does
like
that
that's
seem
about
right
look,
to
it
you?
looks
Does
like
that
that
seem right to you?
looks like that's about to change.
I just asked you a question. Please answer. Does that seem right to you?
Well, those rules were designed to
Does that seem
bring.
right to you, yes or no?
Those rules were designed to bring about an era of more economic equality in South Africa, and it looks like the government has found a way around those rules for you.
I asked you a question.
This is your interview. Everyone wants to hear from you.
I asked you a question. Yes or no?
Not
Racist
for me.
laws, yes or no?
Not for me to answer. I have got a question for you about your government
must
work
like
though and the
racist laws,
amount of
then.
savings.
Why do you like racist laws?
This is not for me to answer. Come on.
Yes, it is.
Now, you wouldn't be trying to dodge a question.
You have to
That
ask a
is difficult
question.
for
I
you
answered
to
my
answer.
question. No, you answer.
Very good pushback by Elon Musk there that specifically talked about how he was not able to have a licensed business because he was white, which is absolutely crazy and insane. Anton, you were saying you had a very similar situation that you had to deal with in South Africa.
Correct. So basically, there are laws on the books in South Africa that it's to try and explain this in a very simple manner. It's basically DEI on steroids, and how the laws work is it works based on ownership of company plus subcontractors and contractors used by the company for supply of services and goods, etc. And you have to have certain targets met and certain racial targets within the business met, so that you get points, and those points are allocated up the logistical stream, and each company has to, up and downstream buy in a certain manner, else the government penalizes you. And I physically had to pay money out to competitors of mine that were black because I was white, and I was instructed to give away half my company, else we will not be able to do any business in South Africa, which today that company is closed. And I'm in the US, and the US gets my talents and my labor.
Yeah, that's
basically
insane. That's crazy. That right there. I mean, I want to get into because I think there's like 140 other laws. Before getting into that, before talking about what's going to happen with the South African president and Trump, we wanted to thank people for signing up to lukefiltercom. By the way, the people who signed up to lukefiltercom told me to have you on, Anton. By the way, I'm in a group chat. Anyone who signs up to lukefilter.com is able to talk to me directly, and we have kind of our own little war room. It's like a secret society, not really, but we're very transparent and public. We're kind of the opposite of secret, but you get a lot of great benefits by signing up to lukefilter.com. 13 plus years of videos, 3 master classes, and I'm in the chat room with all the members. We're going to do a meetup probably very soon, probably in Las Vegas this upcoming Monday, by the way. We might do a little cigar night with all the members that are living there, so that's one of the perks. But I was talking in one of the chat, and they're like, hey, you should interview Anton here about his story. And I'm like, that's a great idea. And I said, as soon as the story becomes relevant again, like it is now with the South African, I was like, we're going to have Anton on. I messaged you, you came on, and it's always great. A lot of our members are really happy with your product. BuiltUSAcom, great stuff out there. I give it to all my neighbors. I give it to all the people I farm with, and I do a lot of planting in my yard now. And everyone that I work with, we have an exchange here. They give me like plants and coconuts. I give them biltong. And it's a great product that you produce here now in the United States, because you used to be in South Africa. You used to have your own business there, and they shut you down. They pushed you away, and then you left here. As a lot of people are now, a lot of liberals and a lot of Democrats are saying, no, you guys are totally fine. You guys stay there. You're saying, no, if you're South African, you should leave there. What made you leave, and what advice do you have to other South Africans listening right now?
So, like I said, the business environment, especially for small businesses, entrepreneurs, that's really difficult, because the government will force you to to take, even if it's partners you don't know, but you have to have certain criteria within your business, in management, in staffing, etc. To the point where, I asked, because they ask you to do this empowerment assessments. You pay a company to assess your business to see if you, qualify in the criteria they set. And if you don't, you pay fines, which we had to do. I asked these guys, I said, look, if I have white people working for me, and I can't just fire someone because there's laws against that as well. So you can't. It's not a work at will. So it's not like where you can say, well, look, things have changed. We've got to let you go. There are very stringent criteria about staffing in South Africa. And I asked these guys, so if I now need to, according to the government, hire more black people, but now I don't have space for them because I have legacy white people working for me. What do I need to do? And they said that is not their problem. You get rid of them and you change them out. Which if that guy's got a family or responsibilities, like what do you say to these people? That's just that, and that's the government's opinion, is just get rid of everybody we don't like, and put the people in place that we do like, and that goes for not just business but apparently people's lives as well.
Yeah, it's crazy because we saw inklings of this in major Democratic areas in the United States, places like California, where they said, no, you can't just have white people a part of your board of directors. You need to have it diverse, or else you're going to face the wrath of the state here. Now, luckily we have something that, of course, respects people from being discriminated against, that Donald Trump is, of course, addressing. But he's also addressing the situation in South Africa, as, of course, Donald Trump announced previously beforehand that he's going to be cutting all funding to South Africa because of their discrimination and human rights violations against white people. We saw Donald Trump enter in, 59 South Africans, gave them refugee status, and the left absolutely just lost their minds. They went crazy, highlighting how, it's not that they love all refugees, it's that they love a certain kind of refugee that, of course, votes their particular way. And I think a lot of this is sadly blurred with political lines, but I think if there's ever a group of people that need help against all the discrimination, all the racism, and all the coordinated attacks, because, Anton, a lot of people forget to understand this, there have been a lot of links with the direct military and mercenary groups that have been going after South Africans, torturing them, doing this as a big kind of fear-mongering campaign, trying to scare the farmers out there. Can you talk to this? Because you see some of these guys with $20,000 worth of radio signal jamming equipment showing up on these farms. They can't call for help. And then there's like these insane, horrible stories. And again, family-friendly show here, so we can't get into the crazy details here. But the goriest, nastiest type of stuff. And then everyone's saying, no, it's not happening. No, there's no racism. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is insane. I don't understand it.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. So, prior to, let's call it the new kind of democratic government, the current ruling party had a military wing, and I a lot of times think, of the, Antifas of the world for the Democrat Party. So these guys were the military wing of the current government, who is the ANC, or the let's say the ruling party, who is the ANC in South Africa.
And you see this a lot, especially with leftist regimes and leftist organizations. I saw this in Venezuela too, and I see this in Cuba. It's these private thug mercenary groups that are not tied in, but are tied in with the government, that do a lot of their dirty work for them, officially and unofficially. Sorry, go ahead.
Correct, no problem. Yeah, they were called Mkontu Sizwe, and they were the military wing of the ANC. In fact, today, 20 May in 1983, they blew up a building in Johannesburg. I think, if I remember, it's like over 200 people got either burnt or maimed and hurt, and I think 17 died. It's in the history in South Africa, so that was one of their, little plots. And mostly innocent people, of course, but not let's not go down that path. But yes, people definitely, they go to the farms, and they've got, the equipment they pitch up with is not stuff you're just going to go buy off eBay. This is full-on military jamming equipment and all kinds of stuff. And I mean, there's a clip on YouTube that exists, where the guy tells you that if he wants to get your money or whatever he's after, he'll microwave your son or your kid, or whatever he needs to do. He'll put him, he'll throw, like, pour hot water down his throat or whatever, and you'll watch. And I mean, there's lots of very, very gory stories, which is,
it's not just them saying it, it's them doing it. They do it too, and there's these horror stories of these families getting affected and having, and being like, they sat down and they forced them to watch. this, and it's not just
Correct.
about money. It's about sending a message.
Yes, I saw a meme the other day, and it said, sometimes you gotta kill a fly with a sledgehammer. It's not about the fly; it's about the flies watching. That's exactly right. So the brutality goes around warnings to anybody else even thinking of pushing back or trying to do what the people were doing. So people just stop farming. They just leave. And it's better to just leave than to go through that or put your family through that. And what a thought I had the other day is like, look, why don't you let the white farmers go and then take the land you so desperately want, and then we can all live in peace. You have your land, we get out of there, and then it's done. I'm very sure there are many places in the world that need really good farmers, and the South African farmers are some of the best in the world. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
let the nations take them.
Yep, I think what's going to happen is what happened in Zimbabwe. I remember going in Zimbabwe and doing the reporting there. Zimbabwe now has a program where they're saying, hey, please, white farmers, come back, we'll pay you. And they discriminated against the white farmers, and then had a very similar situation that unfolded in South Africa. That unfolded there, that led to famine. That led to a whole agriculture collapse. There was a redistribution of land here, which led to financial collapse. And then the leftist liberal governments were like, we'll just print more money. It'll be totally fine. As of course, I want to ask you about your warning message, because you saw all of this kind of growing up here. What kind of message? And then I want to talk about the South African president and his plans to try to curry favors with Trump. He has an interesting way of doing that. But what message, what warning signs would you have to people, specifically with a lot of these like liberal, woke, leftist policies that are following along the same lines? It's the same blueprint. People don't understand just how coordinated, just how much of a plan a lot of this kind of, race infighting is being set up to divide people. So the state comes in and becomes all powerful in people's lives.
Well, that's the thing. Firstly, if a overmajority of people suddenly work for the government, okay, that's a big warning, because automatically that is a voter base you are buying. So government, overly large government and many people on welfare is a massive warning, because they will always vote for those who pay them. So you've got to be careful of that. That was the first thing that happened in South Africa, is the government massively expanded, and then a lot of people went on welfare, because now the government pays you, so you vote for the guy who basically says he's going to give you more money, and the guys who have the printers always give you more money. Never mind that it can't buy anything, but yeah, that and then any kind of infringement on specifically private property is not good. That is the immediate downfall of the society.
Yep, I can't agree more with that. What do you make of the South African president visiting the White House? Because it looks like he's trying to get some of that money. It looks like they're offering Elon Musk a Starlink deal in order to meet with Donald Trump. It looks like they're going to be pulling out all the stops here. What do you make of this president? What do you think he's going to be doing, and will it be successful? Will any of this work?
I don't know if it'll be successful, but suddenly, well, how can I put this? If you've got your hand out, okay, and you're taking money from someone, you cannot call the odds. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if someone's giving, if you're staying in your parents' house, you can't tell your parents what the rules are. So if you've got your hand out, you cannot accost the person that's paying you. So that's the biggest problem they got. And I promise you, virtually none of that money makes it to the people who need it. That stuff, all that money is going to actually line politicians' pockets. And they're feeling the hurt now. The South African budget's not balancing. So a lot of contracts that are normally awarded for all kinds of work in South Africa, all those contracts are on hold now. So the subcontractors, and that's the buddies of all these people that are in power, their friends are hurting now, because they can't get money because the government has not balanced their books and cannot issue contracts. So, Cyril is under a huge amount of pressure to resolve this thing, which shouldn't have been a thing in the first place. So I suspect they'll give Elon what he wants, and later down the line they might try and enforce new rules on it. Because the one thing that's for certain with these type of communist regimes are they consistently change their rules. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. They do whatever is favorable at the moment, and then they quickly change it. You can't really trust them. And so much money went to Africa. So much aid money goes to Africa, and then it just happens that all these African leaders getting all this money are driving Mercedes Benzes and have nice rims on them, and then everyone else is left in the same. I did a little bit of reporting in Africa. I've been to Somalia. I've been to Zimbabwe. I've been to Nairobi. I've seen a little bit of it, and it's an insane place to be in. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with these particular meetings with the president of South Africa. It'll be interesting to see if he actually implements some actual laws that will be more fair, will be more honest. It'll be interesting to see if Donald Trump will be able to de-escalate this kind of very awful situation for all the South Africans out there that are dealing with so much racism, so much discrimination. Anton, I thank you so much for coming on last minute. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely,
I appreciate your product. You have a store in Texas, too, that people could go visit, right? I can't recommend the product enough. I really like the product, and Anton isn't paying me. This is not an ad, but it is a legitimately great, high-quality, really good, legitimate product that I like, that I use. Every time I go to the gym, I use it. My neighbors love it. My neighbor's dealing with, like, a health illness. I'm like, try the carnivore diet. Here, take some biltong. So, any last things you want to say, and where can people find and support your work?
Right, no problem. Well, what I would like to say is anybody who does leave South Africa, I hope a real bright future for them. I really hope they go somewhere, that receives them with open arms, and they make an absolute success out of what they're going to go do in whichever country they choose to go to. And then you can find me on X. I'm king_of_biltong. We have a little YouTube Rumble channel, so if you want to look at that, it's Eat at Anton's. And then general social media, etc. Our main website for the biltong is BuiltUSAcom. And then, we just support as many of the social media guys as we can, like Luke and Viva and Styx and, a bunch of other people. So you will find us online.
Anton, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure working with you. Great product, great quality. Go visit a store if you're in Texas and tell them we sent you out there. Anton, really appreciate you. Thank you guys again. And thank you, my members, for telling me. Again, you guys are a part of this broadcast when you guys sign up to lukeinfilter.com. Whatever you guys want me to do, whatever you guys want me to interview, to investigate, to look into, we're all talking about it right now on Telegram through lukeinfilter.com. So sign up. Stay tuned for more. Support Anton, support free speech. Love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange.